Here we go. Spoiler alert, audience. And good morning, everyone. Good morning, Arden Hills. Good morning, Eden Prairie, Edina, Schaumburg, Illinois, and all of you across the metro. Welcome to the Jason Show for this Friday, July 16th today, July 17th, 2020. I'm Jason Matheson. Thanks for being here. Please clap at home on your couch. I can hear you. For our good friend, my sidekick sister, wearing glasses and spectacles, it's Miss Kendall. Good morning, Kendall.
Glasses and spectacles. Good morning, Jason.
Kendall, do you enjoy the Sheila Oliver fake applause? Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, it makes me very happy inside. I feel like I'm back at the studio.
It does. You know, it does. And it sounds good on TV from what I understand. It sounds, we recorded it from a real audience, I think. Not that it's artificial people or anything, but I think we did record it from a live audience back before everything happened. How you doing? How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Guess why?
Well, I know. That's why I asked you. I knew there was a reason. Why? Why are you doing well?
Because the new Dixie Chicks album is out.
Oh, it is?
Like the whole thing.
I think, oh, by the way.
I think it dropped like in the wee hours.
Kendall, by the way, they're just the Chicks now.
Oh, sorry, the Chicks. I know, I knew I was going to get that wrong. And
It's fine. It's fine. We're still getting used to, but yeah, that's fine. I need to listen to it. It dropped today. I'm going to put that with my unsharpened pencil. I'm going to make a note right there. Download the Chicks a little bit later. Well, I was leading also to, we have some good news concerning you. People have been wondering, first, they were asking, when are we going to be back in the studio? So here we are. We're live. To that delightful woman that called a couple days ago, we are live. This isn't a rerun. And then when we came back, people were like, well, why do you still have Kendall in a storage shed or something? Why is she still not here in the studio? And I said, well, when we can have enough people, because I appreciate this, our management, we can only have a certain amount of people in our building for safety concerns. Well, we are thrilled to tell you that as of Monday, we are letting Kendall out of the storage shed, and she will be standing right across from me at a safe distance of 32.5 feet. Right there. Oh, we took a shot. Leo, way to go. She's right. She's going to be standing right there. And look, Kendall, you have a new table. Can you see it? You have a brand new table. It's a slightly bigger. You can't see it. It's fine. I'll describe it. It's slightly bigger, a beautiful glass top. I'm going to Windex it for you. I may put a potted plant, maybe a cactus I'll put up there for you, and a big tray of brownies on Monday.
Thank you. Oh, wow.
I know.
Brownies.
Yeah, or whatever you want.
It.
I'm just going to be so excited that we're in the same room and we don't have this reporting live from Afghanistan pause between us. I'm going to be thrilled to not have the delay anymore.
I know, whenever I laugh at your jokes and the laugh is like 4 seconds delayed, it's like she was just a little slow on the take for that one.
I just appreciate whether it's 2 seconds or 4 seconds delayed. I just appreciate anybody laughing at my jokes. Well, so that's coming up on Monday. Kendall will be back. We'll continue to be live. So again, thanks for supporting us. Let's get started with today's show. It is time for the hot dish. Here we go. Hungry there. First up, okay, here's the deal. Many of us enjoy a cocktail. I enjoyed a few last night, to be very honest with you, or a glass of wine on occasion, right? But when it comes to the Real Housewives of New York, it seems like alcohol has become the sixth housewife this season. The women gathered at Dorinda's house in the Berkshires last night, and the conversation continued. Can we just watch Sonia eat spaghetti for just a second? Here it comes. I've never seen... Oh, get it, girl. You get that spaghetti. She went after that like a crab leg buffet at the Mystic Lake. Anyway, the conversation continued about why Luann was not paying Sonia for her part in Countess Luann's cabaret shows. And if you don't watch The Real Housewives, this is what your face looks like right now. What? They were all several glasses in when things got really heated, and Dorinda defended Sonia going after Luann. Look at this.
Shame on you. I'm ashamed of you for saying that to this girl.
You're not paying
She was with you when you were down and out.
Stop.
Stop.
Dorinda, why are you being like this?
This woman took
You're
care of
so
you.
scary. You don't even know what's going on here.
Yeah, I do. I do.
You know everything, Dorinda. Dorinda,
Wait.
you know everything,
Really?
don't you?
So
With
the
your
everything.
hand, you know
Yeah.
everything.
You know what?
No, you don't know
You're
everything.
drunk.
No, you don't.
What she's saying
You
is,
drunken fool. You have a mugshot of your drunkenness.
Wow. That clip sponsored by Kettle One. Dorinda was referencing Luann's arrest in Florida a few years ago for disorderly intoxication. That fight led to Luann leaving Dorinda's house early, checking into the Berkshire's Motel 6. The two made up on the phone, and they all blamed too much alcohol. The reason we're bringing this story today isn't just to recap the episode, but here's the problem with the Real Housewives of New York this season. First, the ratings are horrible. Number two, folks aren't liking this aspect of this season. What I mean by that is every single episode is just a drunk fest. And again, no Judge Judy here. I enjoy a good cocktail, but this isn't fun to watch. It's funny maybe once, but it's not fun to watch week after week after week, right, Kendall? It's not enjoyable to watch a bunch of women just get drunk and fall off chairs.
Well, I mean, that's debatable, but I encourage everyone who's watching this show to do what I just did, which is listening. I couldn't see the video, I can only hear it. And listening to it is probably just as funny, if not way funnier, than actually watching it happen, because they're grown women and they sound absolutely ridiculous.
The only thing worth seeing in that
Crying.
clip is
I don't
Sonia
know.
eating her spaghetti. I mean, that is just, she's just like messy, bro. She's just like spooning it into her mouth. Anyway, oh, that plant is really gross. I should not have put that near my mouth. Anyway, next in the dish, the coronavirus may have having an impact on the fall TV schedule, but the pandemic is not. It is not going to ruin Christmas. The Hallmark Channel has announced plans to release 40 new Christmas movies for the upcoming holiday season. And yes, it is like a parade of Hallmark's best. Candace Cameron Bure, Lacey Chabert, Tamra Mori Housley, and Holly Robinson Peete are all back. Among the movies, A Christmas Tree Grows in Brooklyn, On the 12th Date of Christmas, My True Love Gave to Me, Kirk Cameron, and Christmas in Vienna. The movies will start to roll out on Friday, October 23rd. So yes, if you're doing the math, that means 2 months of segments with Ted, right, Kendall? That's what it means to us.
Yes. You know, I couldn't help but notice that list did not include Lori Loughlin, so I guess they couldn't get into like a jailhouse Christmas theme this year.
What do you want that movie to be? Under the Mistletoe in the prison commissary? What she can't. Isn't she in? No, she's not in prison.
Work.
But yeah, she can't go on Hallmark. No. Yeah.
I mean, they'd probably get their ratings way up.
Well, listen to this. But the Hallmark Channel is airing its annual. This is going on right now. It's airing its annual Christmas in July special, and we have a big announcement, right? A huge announcement starting on Tuesday. Producer Ted's Christmas movie reviews will return, everybody. That's right. Forget you, pandemic. Ted is going to save us all. This is when the audience would come in handy right now, because they would all smile, all the women smiling for Ted. Anyway, that'll start on Tuesday. Ted will be back. I'm sure he's thrilled. So let me do the math here. That's July, August, September, October, November, December. That's 6 months of Ted watching Christmas movies. Ted, please don't quit. Next in the dish, Disney Plus. Oh, this is great. Oh, I'm so excited for this. Disney Plus just released the trailer for the documentary called Howard. Now, it's about Howard Ashman, who's a lyricist and screenwriter for some of Disney's biggest animated hits from the early 90s. Look at this. It's so good.
Ready to stand. Ready to stand.
As a lyricist, the last great place to do musicals is in animation.
The combination of Howard Ashman's talent and the Walt Disney name was a home run waiting to happen.
The stuff that was coming out of Howard's pen lyrically was just unbelievable.
It's a quiet, you know what I mean?
It's a quiet village.
Yeah.
Howard and Alan Menken had captured the imagination of a generation. We knew something really special was happening, but what we didn't know was that in 9 months, Howard would be gone.
And Howard said, we really have to have a serious talk. I'm sick.
In animation history and in musical history, Howard's mark is indelible.
Yes.
Howard's gift was so strong and his light was so bright that it has not diminished over the years.
I can't wait to watch this. I wish it was open right now. Some of Howard's credits include, as you saw in the trailer there, The Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin. Sadly, Howard died from AIDS-related complications in 1991. This will come out on August 7th. And even if you're a mild Disney fan, if you're a parent watching right now and your kids love The Little Mermaid and Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast and some songs in The Lion King, he sadly passed before the completion of the production of The Lion King. You should credit a lot of your enjoyment of those movies to Howard. He, and taking nothing away from Alan Menken, but those two, we lost a creative pair at the height of their career. I can't even imagine what magic those two would have created had Howard lived. But they gave us so many gifts. As you saw, Howard just had the touch to look at a song and just switch things ever so slightly to make that song, pardon the pun, but sing. And you don't even know the marks that he left on those Disney movies. Kendall, doesn't that look good? Even if you're just a passing fan, it's going to be a great documentary.
Oh, absolutely. I loved all of those movies growing up. And like you were saying, it's these little tiny moments in music that make everything different. And to be able to hear that and just know that before it's written on the page because you're doing it is a pretty remarkable gift. So it'd be really cool to learn about him and his mind from this.
And a whole new generation to get to know who he was. Still ahead, everybody, celebrity breakup news. And for our Wisconsin friends, this one hits close to home. Plus, our wine diva is on an epic road trip to California in an Airstream. And she's going to join us live from a truck stop. Just kidding. And give us her favorite California wines. And then he is one of our new favorite guests. You love him. You were inspired by him. What's going on with Pierre Paul? Well, he'll be back with us to tell when we return. Stay with us, everyone.
It's crazy to me that you were only on SNL for 1 year, because you certainly made a mark in your time there. Looking back at it, do you wish it had been a longer tenure at the show?
It was so stressful for me every week because I treated it like final exams every week. I think if I'd known I was going to be there for 5 years, I would have taken it easy, but and I was a writer too. So Billy Chris always tells one of his favorite moments is it's 2 a.m. and the read-throughs the next day. And in those days, you had to slide the script under the door because they had to be tight. So you had to slide by 7 a.m., I think, on Wednesday morning. And it's Wednesday morning, about 4 a.m, and he's leaving, and he knocks on my office door, and he says, "How's it going?" I said, "Oh, good." And he looks over my shoulder, and it says, "Ed Grimley's apartment, open on." Nothing else written. Complete and utter panic and despair. Then you have a great show Saturday.
Martin Short with Seth Meyers talking about his time on SNL and his legendary character of Ed Grimley. I remember that because it was during the time period. I think I was probably 11 or 12. Ed Grimley was one of those characters that just stuck with you. Well, next in the dish, the quarantine has claimed another couple. Aaron Rodgers and Danica Patrick are done so. I'm very sorry, Engineer Brad. I know you're upset about this. The Packers quarterback and the former race car driver met way back in 2012 and have been officially an item for 2 years. Things seem to be heading toward marriage. In December, they bought a $28 million mansion in Malibu. So what happened? No one knows. But fans noticed that she stopped following him on Instagram a couple days ago, and that's, the death knell ringeth, or the death bell ringeth, or whatever the phrase is. What is it? The death knell ringeth? I think that's what it is. Kendall, I know you're Sporty Spice. Does this surprise you? You know the sports people better than I do. Does this shock you?
Well, as much as it might shock you, Jason, I just don't know their lives as intricately as I know their playing life. But I will say this. Aaron Rodgers will bounce back. I mean, he dated Olivia Munn forever. She's total babe. And then he bounced right over to Danica Patrick, and he's probably got someone else, if not 75 billion soon or now Packer fans waiting outside his door. So I'm not really worried about him. And I'm definitely not worried about Danica because she's a babe, and I would argue that she's cooler than he is. So
yeah. Oh, look, I'm not crying for either of them. I'm sure as we're speaking, people are sliding into his DMs, as the kids like to say. I think he's going to be just fine, as she will too. But you got to wonder. I mean, he is a source of fascination for me, even though I'm not a Sporty Spice, because I'm curious about his relationship with his family. Because remember, he doesn't speak. He has cut his entire family out. We learned that from Jordan Rodgers, and I don't know. I think there's something with him that there's a mystery about him that I don't think anyone will ever know, because it's when you cut your whole family out, there's something going on there that we don't know. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It is odd. I mean, people that reach that echelon, usually there is just something that, like, to get to that level, you have to be different than everybody else. So I wonder what, like you're saying, that different thing is, and if that's what's ruining his relationships.
Yeah, I've only cut out a few uncles and aunts, and that's it. So next in the dish, we told you this was coming, and now it's here. Tina Turner has come out of retirement. Look at this. At 80 years old, the singer has teamed up with Norwegian DJ Kygo. Yes, for a remix of her 1984 hit, What's Love Got to Do With It? Kygo writing, it feels surreal to be working with such a legendary artist. I love this because the executive producer just said this too. We can finally dance to this. But let's be very clear. We've remixed this many years in the clubs. I mean, we didn't wait for anybody else to do it. You could have heard that in the 90s a couple years ago, so it's at the saloon. But I love this. And now I just want her to go on tour, which will never happen. She said she's never going to go back on the road. It's a lot of work, and she's 80. She deserves to enjoy retirement. I think she lives in Switzerland on a mountain. Let her just be. But she does. Did you know that? Yeah, she has a gorgeous estate in Switzerland. You didn't know that, Kendall?
No, all the chocolate, all the mountains. And they make this like applesauce mac and cheese stuff that, let me tell you, I would live in Switzerland for that.
Okay. Out of all the things to know about Switzerland, how do you know about that?
Mm-hmm. Because you have to know the best food in Switzerland, and it's the applesauce mac and cheese stuff. Google it.
Okay, fine. What's the best food in Yugoslavia? Exactly, my point made. The Midtown Global Market.
Potatoes.
The Midtown Global Market in South Minneapolis is full of flavors from around the world. And tomorrow, the market reopens to the public for the first time since the pandemic started. It's also still recovering from the recent unrest along Lake Street. We caught up, and I got to tell you, this is this guy, Manny. He's a good friend of mine. And if you've been to the State Fair, you know his voice. If you've been to the World Market, you know he's just a good man. So we caught up with him, one of our favorite people from the Market and State Fair, Manny from Manny's Tortas. Look at this.
I just take it down so people can understand what I'm saying. Hello, my name is Manny Gonzalez. And in 1999, I opened my first location on the Mercado Central in Lake Street. And then we opened this location in 2006, the Midtown Global Market. That's where we are right now. You know, in the Mercado Central, they were looking for 5 restaurants when they're gonna open, but each restaurant has to have their own specific food. So I know a lot of restaurants gonna go with tacos, enchiladas, burritos. So I thought, why not tortas? Tortas are very popular in Mexico. Yeah, I have to tell them it's a Mexican sandwiches. And that time they didn't know what tortas were. Cooking? Like cooking? Well, that came from when I was a kid. My mom, you know, my mom used to cook and I used to help her in the kitchen. And you know, that's what I love to do. All the tortas are delicious, but the best one is the mini special. The mini special is in a French bread and it has beans, tomatoes, onions, avocados, chipotle mayonnaise, jalapeno peppers, steak, ham, and melted cheese. And it's so delicious. It's one of the best sandwiches, the mini special. They're gonna feel like a party in their mouth. There is a lot of people, they say, well, I don't like this side on jalapenos, blah, blah, blah. And I say, you have to eat it like it is. You will love it. You know, and say, well, but I don't eat too much hot. And I say, well, you survive. You will survive. I have some milk.
Picking up for I got the berry.
You know, the hospital, the doctors, the nurses, now that they do an excellent job with this pandemic. You know, I'm so glad that they still come in and support us. We have a lot of changes, you know. We have a design table for deliveries, and we have a shield in the counter, and everybody has to wear masks, and we take temperatures, wash their hands, so all the security steps to make sure everything is safe. Okay, so I have an order from East Lake Brewery, so I'm gonna bring their food over there. You know, like this, safe distance. We have to really be careful with the pandemic. We really have to follow instructions so we don't get back again to close business. If we get back again to close business for 2-3 months, that's it. We're not gonna survive. I'll tell you a little story. January and February is the slowest months in restaurants. March, April, COVID-19. Gotta close the place, and then come May, you know, the death of George Floyd, that was so tragic. And then June, the destruction on Lake Street. And it's like, my God, 6 months of struggle. How can I last like that? I don't even know how I'm still here. It's okay to protest, it's okay to hear people, but not to destroy. It has been I worked for many immigrants for 20-some years just to rebuild this avenue. You know, a lot of immigrants that put their business, and 20 years of hard work, 5 days is destroyed. That's the thing that I'm really upset about it. We're here to serve the community. That's the hospitality industry, you know? We gotta welcome people, and you know, people have their own troubles. When you come to this place, we try to make you forget about that through food. Please come and have a delicious torta or anything from around the world. It's wonderful restaurants in here. And a beer, cerveza.
Great work by our photographer, Eric. You're watching, buddy. Great job. That was beautiful. And to Manny, you know, I don't like to beg or ask you guys watching a lot, but I really, we can't lose Manny's tortas. And you know, every day we could be doing a story about a restaurant that's closing and the staff that's affected. For instance, yesterday we just found out that Gavin Kaysen's Belcour in Wayzata is closing, and 508, and we could go on and on. We picked Manny because he's, well, first of all, he's a good man, and good people deserve good things. And he's kind of representative of so many business owners who have put their life savings on the line to survive and to open a business and flourish. And it's been a 1-2-3 punch for these folks. So this weekend, if you're looking for good takeout and you're in the area and you want to support the local economy at the same time and prevent these wonderful, wonderful jewels in our community from closing, support them. The grand reopening of the Midtown Global Market is happening tomorrow from 10 to 6. Go to midtownglobalmarket.org for more information. Love you, Manny. Still ahead, everyone. Leslie Miller is on her way back from a trip out west in an Airstream. Well, how did it go, and what are some of her favorite California wines? We'll chat live next. Welcome back. Woo. Look at my legs. there we go. Welcome back. We are live, and earlier this week we talked about Stephanie Hansen's road trip out west, and another one of our regulars, another one of our family members, did something very similar. She hopped in an Airstream, grabbed her wine, and headed to California. Well, now she's on her way back, joining us live from Jackson Hole, and let's hope she's not calling for some bail money. The wine diva herself, Leslie Miller from Amuse Wine. Hello, Leslie.
Jason.
You don't need any bail money, do you? You haven't gotten in any trouble on the road, have you?
No. You know, I've traded in some flip-flops, and I have to have a cowboy hat today. I was looking for an elk to walk by my Airstream here just on time, but didn't happen this morning.
I am impressed that even you're there for a short amount of time. I see you decorated for the 4th of July. Nice decorations in the Airstream there.
You know, you got to do it up in here. It's basically a little apartment that we've been living in for the last 3 weeks, so I had to make it nice and comfy.
So you told me about this the last time you were on the show, but share with the folks, because I am curious, what was the motivation for this? Because we do know a lot of people, we talked to the Thrifty Traveler, a lot of people are doing road trips. What was the motivation, Leslie, and where have you guys gone?
Well, we have been wanting to do this for a very long time, and we live right downtown Minneapolis, and with my business, I can actually teach things on the road, so I've been teaching virtual wine classes from the Airstream, but we just wanted a little bit of a break, and my better half, he hadn't seen certain parts of the country, so I thought it would just be really fun to kind of zoom around. We started in, obviously, Minneapolis. We went to Colorado, went through Colorado Springs down to beautiful Santa Fe, which, by the way, if you haven't spent time there, do that. Then kind of made our way across to Flagstaff, Arizona, landed in the very, very hot Joshua Tree area where it was 110 degrees for the 4th of July.
Oh, what was it?
It was very hot.
Leslie, let me ask you, what was it about Santa Fe? Because you got really excited about Santa Fe. What was it about it?
Well, I lived in Durango, Colorado for 10 years, and I used to go down to Santa Fe a lot. I love the architecture. I love the culture. Not a lot of places are open, but there's beautiful museums of the Navajo Nation. It's really stunning. If you like history and culture and just, stunning architecture and landscape, that's the place.
And you mentioned this briefly too. You've been working, and it hasn't just been a vacation. You taught a virtual Chardonnay class, right?
Yeah, I did. So we let people know that we were going someplace to go teach this class. So from Joshua Tree, we went to Santa Barbara, California, where I taught from a girlfriend of mine lives there. So we taught from her backyard, and I had a winemaker from Santa Barbara join us via Zoom from the area to talk about the Chardonnays from Santa Barbara. And then from there, we worked our way all the way up the coast. 101, by the way, just so stunning this time of year. We went to Healdsburg. I have another family friend that has a winery there. Went into the Redwoods, which is so magical. Redwoods. And then we went to Bend, Oregon, where we went to Crater Lake. We came across to Idaho. And now here we are in Jackson, Wyoming.
I love it. Okay, so I see that you have some wines in front of you. And you have the top 5 California wines, right?
I do. So there's one missing here, but I'm going to talk about it. Starting with, these are some regions that I don't think that people really go towards a lot. They always go to Napa and Sonoma, but Santa Barbara County has to be one of the coolest wine regions if you love Pinot Noir, Syrah, and absolutely Chardonnay. And I picked up maybe 24 rosés while I was there. And I found this beautiful little winery called Railsback. So a lot of like those big, beautiful, juicy Rhone varietals like Grenache, Syrah, Cinsault. You get these really stunning examples of wine there. But if you love Chardonnay, this is the region for you to go to. It's a cool climate region for Chardonnay. So Santa Barbara is really, really stunning and probably one of the most overlooked, I would say, in the way of the Central Coast, California.
You know, the only bad thing, Leslie, Lord knows I like having you on the show in any capacity. here, and this is where the pandemic can really just bite me, is the fact that it's preventing me from drinking that wine. You know what I mean? Usually you're right next to me drinking that wine. So I'm really mad at COVID today. What's next? What's the next wine?
I hear you. So, you know, also as you're making your way up the coast, there's a tiny little region called the Carneros Valley. And the Carneros is basically snuggled in between Napa, which is inland, very hot, and Sonoma. And there's a little baby region down at the bottom of that called Carneros. And they make, again, really beautiful examples of Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, but also dry Riesling is there, Sauvignon Blancs, just unbelievable examples, again, of cool climated grape varietals. And this has to be one of the coolest wineries that you need to visit once you're up and running and going to wineries. This is Scribe Winery, a couple of young hipsters that started this beautiful, they have twinkly lights decorated all over their vineyard. Scribe is great, and they have this great Pinot Noir that I love. Also,
and Leslie, we have about 30 seconds.
Perfect. As we head up into Dry Creek, which is Sonoma Valley, you have to get your teeth around these big, juicy, meaty Zins. Peterson Winery is great there. And then also I discovered this beautiful little company made by a couple out there in Sonoma County that's making awesome vermouth out of Sonoma County Chardonnay. So really awesome examples all over the coastline, all the way up into the north. If you have more questions about them, obviously you guys know where to find me.
Absolutely, and I will tell them where to find you. Happy trails, my dear friend. I'll see you when you get back.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jace.
Bye, sweetheart. Leslie Miller, everybody. For more information, head to her website, amusewine.com. Coming up next, another one of our favorites, Pierre Paul, is back. We'll chat live with him right after these messages. Stay with us, everyone. Welcome back, everyone. We met our first guest a few months ago, and he quickly became a favorite. Let me tell you, he really did. Pierre Paul drove to Minnesota from Illinois during the unrest following the killing of George Floyd. He helped organize a massive cleanup at the Target store on Lake Street. I do have to credit my good friend Kelly O'Connell from Fox 9 for getting this interview and realizing what a gem she was meeting. I talked to him a few months ago on this show, and joining me again live this morning is the great Pierre Paul. Good morning, my friend.
Hey, good morning, Jason. How are you?
I'm doing great. Pierre, you know, I'm so glad that you came back. I texted Pierre and I said, Pierre, when we go back live, I said, I want you on that first week of shows, and here you are. And the reason I wanted you back, because you had such an impact on our viewers. People just loved your message. They loved your heart. They loved your spirit. And one of the things we didn't get into in our first conversation was, where did that come from? Your upbringing, your childhood. You had a very interesting, interesting is probably the wrong word, but you had a pretty remarkable upbringing. Can you tell the folks your story?
Absolutely. So I was born in Brazil, but then I grew up in Guyana. And so my parents were studying to get their master's and then eventually their PhD. And so my father left for the United States so he could raise enough money to bring my siblings and I to the US. And he could also get his degree while he's bringing us up here to have a better way of life. And so that's really how it all started. It was really one of those immigrant stories where you see that parents wanted a better way of life for their children to give them new opportunities. And then, pardon me.
Pierre, I was wondering, sincerely, I was hearing in the background going, is Pierre so talented he's doing an interview and playing the piano at the same time?
No. Just listening to it in the background. I was like, what am I listening to? Yep. But so I was fortunate enough to come to the United States. And my father and my mother worked extremely hard to give us a better way of life. And then growing up, I faced a lot of adversity because some people didn't like me because I was foreign. Some people did like me because I was foreign. But the fact of the matter is I was given an opportunity to excel because my parents set a beautiful foundation that taught me to value others and care for other people. And that really just kind of gave me the start that I needed to have a mindset that's serving others and doing whatever I can for the community.
And that foundation obviously, led you here to Minneapolis that need when you see inequality and you see a need for justice in the world, you want to be there. Take us back for those who missed your first trip, your first interview with us. What was it? What was it, Pierre, that motivated you to get into a car and drive up to Minnesota? You had never, I don't think you. Well, yeah, you had a friend up here, but what was it that made you do that drive and to land at the Lake Street Target?
Yeah, so the reason that I made the drive was because I was feeling hopeless after watching the news and seeing what had happened with George Floyd and seeing how people in Minnesota were hurting. And so that hopelessness just made me decide that I couldn't just sit on the couch anymore. I couldn't just sit and be an advocate from the couch when I have a car and have the capability to drive 7+ hours and help in the center of everything that is happening. So the hopeless feeling that I had made me want to take away the hopelessness that others were feeling, specifically in Minnesota.
Well, Pierre has been up to a lot since his last visit with us and his last visit to Minnesota. After the break, we're going to find out what he's been doing. More with Pierre Paul right after this. Stay with us, everybody. Welcome back, everyone. More with our conversation with Pierre Paul. You know, Pierre did not slow down. Literally, Pierre got in his car, left Minnesota, and tell the folks, you and I were in contact, have been since then. Tell the folks what you did immediately. Like, what wasn't it the next weekend, Pierre?
Yep. So the next weekend, I led a protest mimicking a silent march where you have a set of protesters led by drums. And we walked to a specific area, and then I held a Q&A with a couple thousand individuals where I was able to field some questions. And I had the chief of police up there with me. And it was just an amazing experience for the community to get their questions answered and understand what is being fought for.
Pierre, you're seeing it. You're literally you're on the streets. You're in these protests. You're leading change. I want to talk about optimism. Are you seeing are the seeds of change, real change, on the ground right now, Pierre?
I am seeing the seeds of change, mainly because even when we have these protests and there are people who are counter protesters who are against the movement, a lot of times I've seen individuals invite them into the conversation. And in doing so, everybody's able to be heard, everybody's able to communicate. And I think getting the naysayers and people who might not want to understand to really listen is what sets the movement in motion. It's what gets everybody to be on the same page and understanding one another, because that's what we need, understanding.
Is that what you would tell folks? Because I was going to ask you, you know, we fear what we don't understand. So if there are folks watching our show right now that are afraid of the change for whatever reason, what would you say to them?
I would say to embrace some of the uncomfortable moments. I would remind them that we are not entitled to comfortability just because it's familiar. And in getting uncomfortable, you allow yourself to not only open your mind up for new experiences, but you allow other people to feel comfortable to speak with you.
Have you filed your paperwork for a presidential run yet? I'm just wondering. I'm just cutting to the chase, Pierre. I'm asking you what everyone at home is wondering.
Absolutely, it's in filing right now.
No, all kidding aside, though, what do you want to do? It's such a generic sophomore question. What do you want to do? And you know, but what is your goal, Pierre? What do you want to do for the world?
I would love to travel the world using my voice, using public speaking to will the hearts of others to facilitate change in their own communities. I would love to just be able to travel and speak and listen and help and write legislation and basically anything that is needed anywhere. I'd love to do it.
You know, you and I talked about this. Were you by yourself surprised at the reaction to you? Because I've rarely had a guest, Pierre, and this is a question rolled with a compliment. I've rarely had a guest in all of the years we've done this show that garnered the response that we got from your appearance. Have you been surprised?
I really have been surprised. I love humanity and I love to assume the best in people. But sometimes when events like we've seen happen, it makes you kind of fall off the wayside when it comes to what you think people are capable of. But I love how welcoming Minnesota was to me. And I love that people are welcoming, even though I do come from a different country and I have different perspectives. But the fact that people are willing to listen to me, I think that shows the beauty of America.
Because don't you think, Pierre, it's really easy for us to just concentrate and get down on the headlines and all the stuff that's not being done. But when you look around and you see the good, it does kind of renew your spirit, right?
I agree. It really does.
Yeah. Well, how can folks keep up with you? I mean, obviously, we're going to have you back on the show for until you're president. That's my goal. I'm just going to keep having you on until you run. But how can folks, because I know they're going to be just as motivated by you this time, how can folks keep in touch with you, Pierre?
Yeah, so I think the best way to keep in touch with me right now is through social media. I'm doing a lot of social media advocacy as well as my in-person advocacy, which is a little bit new for me, but I've been doing videos called Well, Pierre, where I just give information about different aspects of history, political history, Black history, a part of American history. And in doing so, I'm working with a couple Illinois legislators to pass a piece of legislation that would ensure that history is being taught adequately in the school system. So hopefully that's something big you can expect from me soon.
Of course you are. Why? Of course you are. When I was your age, I was eating Papa John's pizza and watching reruns of Ren and Stimpy, and you're doing that. Okay, so final question. We talked about a lot of serious stuff. I don't know this. What do you like to do for fun?
I like to sing. I'm a singer.
Of course you are. Yeah. Of course you are, Pierre.
Yeah, singing, badminton.
Is there anything you're bad at? Is there anything you're bad at, Pierre?
Can't swim. That's it. Can't swim.
Well, I said this to you privately. I said it on the last time. The moment we talked, I said you have a friend forever and you have a person in your corner forever. And I'll say it again publicly, and I mean it. So whatever you need, you let us know, okay, Pierre?
Will do. Thank you so much.
Thank you. The great Pierre Paul, everyone. You can follow him on social media. And he remember his name, because he will be president, I'm telling you. We're going to take a break. We'll be back to wrap things up with Kendall in just a few minutes. Back after this. Love the Pierre. Welcome back, everyone. Already getting a good response from Pierre. Again, follow him on social media. Just search for Pierre Paul, and you can keep up with how he's literally changing the world. And you can keep up with us on social media as well. Just check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The address is really easy. Just Jason Show TV. Look for my big old head and click on and follow us. And YouTube as well. We post all of our full episodes on our YouTube channel. We know a lot of you watch our show on YouTube, and we're grateful. However you consume our show, thank you very much. When we come back, Kendall's back to wrap up the week, the day, and the show right after this. Wrapping things up for this Friday from our set. Don't forget, Kendall will be joining me back on the set on Monday. She joins us now live from her house. I'm just, I'm not being goofy. I'm really, really excited to see you and to have one more piece of normalcy, just one more piece of normal pie. You sitting or standing across from me. I can't wait to see you.
I know, me neither. I've been really looking forward to this through all of this working from home, and the fact that it's actually happening, I'm probably going to be a little ridiculous on Monday.
I know. We can't hug, though. That's our trademark hug at the beginning of the show. We can't do that. We'll just have to get a ruler and just like a yardstick or something. So any big plans for the weekend? Are you going down to Red Cross? Not Red Cross. Red. Are you going to the Red Cross? Are you going down to Red Wing or something?
Going to the Red Cross? I am actually. I am going down to the Red Cross Red Wing. We are going to go visit my mom. My sisters both just had a COVID test recently because they were around other people and are clear. And I'm like, sweet.
Yes.
We're all clear. Let's go.
Yeah.
So we're going to hang out and, I don't know, maybe go to a winery, do something, wear our masks.
Do something safe.
Nice.
Do something safe.
What are you doing?
We're probably going to the lake. We're not no pull tabs this weekend. The family vetoed. I don't know why they vetoed the pull tab playing. I know, frowny face. I look forward to it all week, and I was notified. Colin told me a couple days ago. He goes, "Oh, I don't think we're going to Pine Brook this weekend." I was like, "Really? I eat leaves and berries all week, and now I can't. I might sneak out of the house and go by myself." But That's
Do
all right.
it.
I'm going to do it. Well, I can't wait to see you. Have a good weekend, Kendall.
Me neither. You too. Bye.
Monday on The Jason Show. Oh, this is going to be good. I'm talking live with Tom Warner. Who is he? Well, he's one of the people featured in Unsolved Mysteries, the episode about UFOs in Massachusetts. That's Monday on The Jason Show. Go out there and be yourself because nobody can tell you you're doing it wrong. Bye, everybody. Have